Good evening, everyone. Tonight we'll tell you which UMass Amherst graduate was selected as a delegate for Senator and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders.
And later, we'll fill you in on a new rehabilitation facility that could be coming to the Hilltown area. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike Griffin.
And I'm Ron Garza, and you're watching UMass News Now.
Sunday night, a 44-year-old man was assaulted outside the Tunnel Bar in Northampton. The man was saying that he was jumped by 4 young people who he had an altercation with previously that night at the bar. Police are still investigating who is responsible for the assault and are looking for any tips. The Tunnel Bar is a popular destination for many students of the 5-college system. The man is not in serious condition, but is looking to press charges.
Police departments across the state are warning residents to be aware of a threat to their personal belongings. A group known as the Felony Lane Gang was reported by Natick Police to have been involved in several vehicle break-ins over the last few weeks. A warning echoed by the Felony Lane Gang Task Force, a Facebook group of victims of the gang working together to assist law enforcement. According to authorities, the Florida-based gang is known to specifically target women, breaking into vehicles to obtain credit cards, checkbooks, and forms of identification. The gang then recruits local women, usually prostitutes or drug addicts, to assume the identities of their victims in order to cash stolen checks. The Waltham Police Department released a similar report last week, reminding people to be aware of their surroundings, remove all valuables from their vehicles, and make sure their cars are locked.
Monday, a sit-in was held outside of Chancellor Subswamy's office by members of the University of Massachusetts Fossil Fuel Divestment Campaign. The protest was aimed to have the university lower its dependency on fossil fuels. On Monday, the sit-in took place in the hallways of the Whitmore building from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eventually, a select number of members of the divestment campaign were granted a meeting with the Board of Trustees on Tuesday. A rally was also held outside of the student union for the divestment group. Nearly 200 students were in attendance for the rally.
A University of Massachusetts Amherst graduate was selected as a delegate for Senator and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Resident Democrats chose Noman Kanani, a 2000 journalism and economics graduate, at the Massachusetts 2nd Congressional District Caucus in Greenfield on Saturday. Kanani, along with James Beddard of West Boylston and Homair Nassim of Boylston, beat out 19 other candidates for their positions as Sanders delegates. As just a small part of 59 delegates selected by Democrat voters across the state, the 2nd Congressional District Trio will represent Western Massachusetts at the 2016 Democratic National Convention in July. The remaining 32 pledged delegates, split evenly between former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Senator Sanders, will be decided at the State Democratic Committee caucus on May 7th. Kanani served as president of the Muslim Student Association during his time as an undergraduate at UMass Amherst and claims Senator Sanders is the reason for his recent involvement in politics.
The Amherst police have issued several warnings to underage citizens about openly drinking outdoors. Though there were only 6 drinking citations issued this past weekend, 4 of which were UMass students, 6 more were warned and 2 others were arrested. The police say that from now until the end of the semester, the presence of officers will be increased, especially in the North Amherst area, specifically Townhouse Apartments and Hobart Lane. The police say they have the right to arrest, give citations, or warn underage drinkers.
A new rehabilitation facility could be coming to the Hilltown area. Tennessee-based Addiction Campuses of America stated interest in purchasing property in Cummington at the site of the former Swift River Academy, a former boarding school for teens which closed in 2013. The 600-acre property will span the towns of Cummington and Plainfield, with plans including treatment for drug and alcohol addictions. Brian Sullivan, Public Relations Director for Addiction Campuses of America, stated the facility aims to bring about 200 jobs to the local community. The company plans to appear before the Cummington Zoning Board of Appeals on April 21st to discuss the details of the project's proposal. A similar meeting is scheduled for the Plainfield Zoning Board on April 13th. In a state currently plagued with drug abuse, residents see the facility as a positive addition to their community.
Coming up, we'll fill you in on the unsettling report that came out from the New York Times.
And later, we'll tell you how SpaceX, the private space exploration company, made history last Friday. Stay tuned.
Okay, guys, ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're live.
probe Voyager 1 crossed out of our solar system, being the first man-made product to do so.
And find out what exciting event UMass is planning for our homecoming weekend.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Liz Streppa.
That's going to be us in 20 years, Kyla. 20 years.
If students don't start returning the locks and towels that they borrow, they might soon be locked out of free rentals.
For an anchor shot,
Yeah, is that good or?
you want to zoom it out a little bit more.
For more news updates around campus, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Until next week, have a good night, UMass.
Last week, Banyan Absalameh and Ramzi Habjazi, two university students from the Middle East, visited UMass to speak about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict as part of the Right to Education tour. The focus of their talk was on the constant colonization of Palestine by Israel. Absalameh and Habjazi's biggest concern is that there is not enough coverage of the illegal colonization of Palestine. Ironically, this conference took place the same week UMass communication professor Sut Jolly released his latest film, Occupation of the American Mind, which largely deals with the injustice taking place in Palestine.
A Navy officer was charged with espionage in a preliminary hearing last Friday. Taken into custody 8 months ago by law enforcement officials en route to an undisclosed foreign country, Lieutenant Commander Edward Lynn has since been in pretrial confinement at a naval brig in Chesapeake, Virginia. Charges include 2 counts of espionage, 3 counts of attempted espionage, and several violations of wrongful transportation of classified material, with failure to report compromised information. Commander Lynn's charging sheet states his assignment as Commander, Patrol and Reconnaissance Group, a unit based in Norfolk, Virginia. The Navy has not released a formal statement regarding the officer's charging, though a U.S. official involved with the case acknowledged it to be one of national security. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service and FBI continue to investigate the case.
This past weekend, a report came out of the New York Times claiming that the terrorist attacks in Brussels last month were originally targeted for France. In case you have forgotten, Paris was the site of the Islamic State's previous attack, killing 130 citizens last November. Though authorities have captured or killed most of the suspects to be believed to be involved in the Brussels attack, officials are suggesting that Paris and Brussels are just the tip of the iceberg. Europe is going through extreme precautions to avoid another terrorist attack, which means heightened security for all citizens. Experts believe that ISIS will more than likely strike in the United Kingdom, Germany, or Italy next.
SpaceX, the private space exploration company headed by billionaire and philanthropist Elon Musk, made history last Friday. After numerous attempts, the company successfully landed part of its Falcon 9 rocket on a drone ship stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. Though the rocket landing was part of a supply mission to the International Space Station, the main show occurred after the spacecraft's Dragon cargo capsule detached from the Falcon booster rocket. 10 minutes after launch, the rocket lightly touched down on the drone ship, marking a first for international spaceflight. The rocket returned to port on Sunday for transportation to Kennedy Space Center, where it awaits a thorough inspection and engine tests in preparation for reuse in a possible June launch. SpaceX believes the landing is a step towards reusable rocket technology, but Musk stated it could take years to achieve the efficiency necessary for a launch every few weeks. The Falcon 9 landing also earned a tweet from President Barack Obama congratulating the SpaceX team and NASA for their accomplishment.
There's been talk lately of the Republican National Party potentially nominating an outside candidate regardless of who wins the most delegates for the party. Though some have mentioned former presidential candidate Mitt Romney as a possibility, the name that is now surfacing is Paul Ryan. Ryan is the Speaker of the House and is in good standings with most members of Congress and the Senate. Ryan's appeal stems from his opposing views of the Republican delegate leader Donald Trump, including ideas of free trade, immigration, and entitlement program. Though Ryan has continued to deny that he would accept a party nomination, experts believe that there is a strong possibility Ryan could be the party's choice for president.
In what is being called the first of its kind, a labor arbitration panel heard China's first case of transgender job discrimination on Monday. A man identified by Chinese state media only as Mr. C claimed the Ximing Health Checkup Center intentionally fired him for wearing men's clothing after it was disclosed he had been born a woman. Huang Sha, the lawyer representing Mr. C, stated the organization had officially fired his client for incompetence, but that they lacked evidence for its claims.
This past weekend, the Masters, golf's most prestigious tournament, took place in Augusta, Georgia. England's Danny Willett took the championship, shooting a 5-under on Sunday, the final day of the tournament. Perhaps an even bigger story was the downfall of tournament favorite Jordan Spieth. Spieth entered the back nine of Sunday's round with a 5-stroke lead and then shot consecutive bogeys on holes 10 and 11 and a quadruple bogey on 12. Spieth's collapse kept him from consecutive titles at Augusta, while it opened the door for Willett's first green jacket.
As part of the continued fallout from the Panama Papers leak, British Prime Minister David Cameron announced plans for a new tax law later this year. The new legislation would hold companies criminally liable in the event of employee tax evasion and would address corruption in private business. The Cameron administration claimed it brought in $2.8 billion from offshore tax evaders since 2010 and plans to publicize a registry of ownership information in June as an effort to promote transparency in private enterprise. The release of the Panama Papers caused a significant stir in the international community, with over 11 million documents from a 40-year period published by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. 2 days after the publication, Icelandic Prime Minister Sigmundur Gunnlaugsson was forced into retirement when one of the papers named him as one of the 12 heads of state using the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca as a tax haven. Cameron's late father was mentioned in the documents after establishing an offshore fund years before, which some critics see as the reason for his proposal.
We will now send it over to Stephen and Hannah for an all-new segment of Mass Hollywood.
Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, welcome to the all-new segment of Mass Hollywood.
Here we're going to fill you in on all the latest celebrity gossip. I'm Hannah Brown.
And I'm Stephen Turner, and this is Mass Hollywood. So first, two of my favorite artists, Big Sean, Janae Aiko, just dropped a collaborative album called 2088. The album's press release describes it as a story of the highs and lows of a relationship, with insight to conflict, memories, love, sex, and more. 2088 is also the name of the duo. In a quote by Janae Aiko, she gives a funny response to why they called it 2088. So Aiko says, in a high school English class, I had to write my own eulogy. I wrote mine being super famous and that I won a Nobel Peace Prize. And I also died in 2088. So Hannah, I find it really weird that she would predict her death. Personally, if I wrote my own eulogy, I wouldn't put 20 da-da-da-da. I like to think I live forever. But that's just me. That's just,
Also, what kind of school makes you write your own eulogy? That's kind of morbid.
Sounds like a public school, but anyway.
Robert Kardashian and Blac Chyna announced their engagement to fans last week after 3 months of dating. Chyna Instagrammed a picture of her and Rob with the ring visible and the caption, "Yes." After a week, it seems as though it is real, though Chyna has played into fake engagement rumors before. She's also made it known through an Instagram video that her ring is 7 carats and claims she's blessed and honored to have a good man in her life. Chyna was previously engaged to rapper Tyga, with whom she has a son. Tyga is currently dating Rob's sister Kylie Jenner, and the Kardashian-Jenner family has not yet spoken out about the engagement. What are your thoughts on that?
Tiger and Kylie's together, and now it's Rob and Chyna.
It's weird.
I guess it's a Hollywood thing. I don't know what to say about it.
I saw something recently that supposedly Kylie was mad because Tyga saying I'm happy if my son's mom is happy, and supposedly she's pissed that he said anything because no one else has said anything about it yet.
So he just burst the bubble, basically?
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. So I don't know if it's true or not. And who posts? I don't know. I guess if I was rich, it'd be different. But who posts how many carats your ring is? We can all see that it's big.
You gotta brag,
it's big
though.
and
You got Beyonce and Nicki Minaj getting rings on their fingers. You gotta be all right, but I got this though. Bam, post an Instagram pic. But also, well, kind of staying on that tip, if you're a fan of the Martin television show, you know that the actress who played Gina announced that her and her husband were filing for bankruptcy. So the good folks at Power 105 Breakfast Club decided to launch a GoFundMe for Gina entitled "Damn Gina," which is ironically one of the show's most famous quotes. Also, apparently it was a big success because it raised over $1,000 in a day. So Hannah, let me ask you a question. Let's say you and your husband were famous or whatever, filed for bankruptcy, and then let's say some type of radio station got a GoFundMe, like the same situation. How would you feel like them putting you on blast like that?
See, I bet you would take the money.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would probably take the money, but I'd feel kind of embarrassed that I'm filing for bankruptcy in such a public space. I mean, I'd be happy that my fans support me. I don't know if it's a big success, $1,000 in a day.
Do you have $1,000? That's college tuition. I mean, go send me a GoFundMe. My name's Steven Turner. No, yeah. I mean, I think it's a big success, personally.
Okay, that's fair. Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson hosted the MTV Movie Awards this past Saturday. It was pre-recorded for the first time and then aired on Sunday night. Ariana Grande and Halsey performed, and many movie stars like Zac Efron, Chris Hemsworth, Gigi Hadid, and Seth Rogen presented awards. Clips from Suicide Squad, Captain America: Civil War, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them were all shown. Star Wars: The Force Awakens led with 11 nominations and won the coveted award for Movie of the Year.
I had no idea it was on. Nobody told me.
I know. I didn't know that it was pre-recorded either. That I feel like you can take stuff out if you do that, and it's less dramatic.
That's how they do all the award shows now. You know, ever since what happened at the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, they pre-record everything, which is kind of whack, but who knows? It is what it is. But also, Chance the Rapper, who was also here last year, has partnered with New Era hats to give the Chicago's White Sox hats a fresh new look. Chance is always wearing his Sox hat, which for him represents his music, the Social Experiment, which is the group he's in, and also is the symbol of his hometown pride. With all this work he has been doing with the Chicago's White Sox, it's pretty much like Chance is like their new cool mascot. I mean,
I think that's cool.
It is cool. Were you here last year for when he came?
Yeah, I didn't go to the concert.
Oh,
though.
no. But yeah, he's a very cool dude, man. I mean, I don't even think he got a lot of money for this. I mean, like, he really cares about his city and everything. So I just believe, Chance is doing this out of kindness of his heart.
Yeah, and I feel like that's honestly probably a kind of cool thing for him, too, to be partnered with. Something like if I was partnering with the Red Sox, that'd be really cool for me. So
definitely.
I feel like that's a cool thing to do.
Free Green Monster tickets right up there. I can see myself. It would be so nice.
Last Thursday was the last ever American Idol finale. After 15 seasons and a lot of talent, the host Ryan Seacrest announced the final American Idol winner, Trent Harmon. Many contestants from past seasons returned to sing, and the original judges, Paula Abdul, Randy Jackson, and Simon Cowell, made guest appearances. Cowell thanked America for allowing them into their homes. It was a very emotional win for Harmon, and emotional for the viewers at home to watch such a beloved show come to an end. Seacrest closed out the final show and said, "And one more time, this is so tough. We say to you from Hollywood, good night, America." He then added, "for now," claiming the next day that he didn't want to say goodbye.
Man, I remember when the first season of American Idol came out. I think Ruben Studdard won.
No, first was Kelly Clarkson. I think Ruben was the second one.
Really? Oh, well, excuse me then. I guess that's why they're getting canceled. But anyways, unfortunately, that's all we have this time for tonight. Be sure that you tune in next week to hear more of the latest celebrity gossip. I'm Steven Turner.
And I'm Hannah Brown. Thanks for watching Mass Hollywood. Have a great night.
And that concludes tonight's newscast. Be sure to tune in next week for the final show of the semester. I'm Mike Griffin.
I'm Ron Garza. Thanks for watching UMass News Now. Good night and good luck.